I think it chose me. I didn't choose it. It was pure accident to meet that sapu maker, and the story after that is long, but it all started from the sapu. Pure accident. A pretty accident. My name is Caroline. I'm a French citizen. I've been living in Indonesia for the past 18 years, which is quite some time by now. I'm here as a spouse to my husband, who is Indonesian, Batak Indonesian, and my project is about giving back to the community. The foundation is called Yayasan Darius Tobing, which is named after my late father-in-law. Darius Tobing was a prominent businessman in Medan, Batak, pure Batak. He was a renowned person to have a kind heart and to support people that needed support. When I started my foundation, I wanted to give a name that would have a meaning, giving a legacy to something. And I thought Darius Tobing would be the perfect person since he had a kind heart and was a great support to his community. So the foundation is named after him. I've never met him. He died before I married my husband 36 years ago. But I always felt that this Darius was a person that was revered by his community, and for some reason he's protecting us. There's some kind of a bond, something that feels very special. Yeah, actually the business is completely different. I mean, this is not even a business, we are more of a social enterprise. We are more into supporting communities, but for us it's a dedication into supporting communities. So we support artisans, we support orphanages, we support home for the elderly. We are very, very big on supporting animal shelters, where people abandon their pets, pets that are found in the streets, cats, dogs. And then we have a market where we support further more the artisans that have a brand but don't have a shop. Before that, I was in America. I was, same thing, following my husband. I was raising my son. I'm actually an interior designer by trade, but I've not really practiced my trade. I became a mother. I was dedicated to taking care of my son. It's only when I came back to Indonesia, by pure accident, I met one artisan that was making a broom, a sapu, as you call it in Bahasa. And curious about the making of the broom, curious about the marketing of this broom, since it's a beautiful broom, but yes, in Indonesia it's just a sapu. So it was discovering things that I didn't know about trade in Indonesia, about hand making in Indonesia, and the difficulties of these artisans to sell their products, and for the difficulties of these artisans to make Indonesian people realize what it takes to make a sapu. Difficulties in Indonesia. Indonesians are the nicest people. I mean, they're kind, they are smiling, they are not confronting. So the Indonesians are actually the kindest people, I would dare to say, that I know on the planet. Challenges about the business itself, it's more the way that I see it. Yeah, in Indonesia, there is no support for the small artisans. The small artisan that produces in their home, if they are not affiliated with somebody, it is very, very difficult for them to access raw material. Take, for example, an artisan that works with ceramic. It is very difficult for him to access the raw material. So if he is a ceramist, he has to go and work in a fabric, if he has the knowledge of making it. Or he has to be able to get affiliated with a house of ceramics. If he's wanting to do ceramics in his house, it is very hard to access the raw material. Same thing with the wood artisan. Wood is for the big industry, not for the small artisans, and on and on and on for much of the raw materials. We followed a few, especially at the beginning, since we were nobody. Nobody knows us, and we are hidden in a little corner. So we did the Inacraft, we did the Crafina at the time, we did Women International Club, and then the expat communities like the British women, American women, and others non. The response is good. The appreciation is fabulous. People realize that handmade in Indonesia has value. People realize that there is handmade in Indonesia and they are coming to buy. We've had a few shows where perhaps the organizer was not the best, but otherwise the average is, we did well. That's what's important. When the event is not successful, of course, it's frustrating because you had to pay a fee. You were expecting to make a certain amount of sales. If the organizer doesn't invite the right crowd, if the organizer doesn't push for this event to be known that it's happening, yes, of course, you feel sakit hati lah, because you have spent money in registering, you have spent money in setting up, you have spent money in creating a stock, you have spent money in overtime for your staff, lunch, gasoline. So yes, it is an issue when you don't have a successful event. Yeah. From the artisans? From artisan? No. From artisans, it's always they feel very happy when they see that somebody takes interest into the products that they are making. They feel very special because 3/4 of the time nobody paid attention to their skills. We are not really looking at the product, but we're looking at the skills. In Indonesia, you have people that it's innate in them to be able to make something. I mean, when you see somebody that makes a ketupat alone for a foreigner, it's mind-blowing because they can be doing the ketupat like this, talking with you, and then there is an end product. I mean, for us, we have to pay attention, we have to look at it. So Indonesians, there is a talent that's innate in them. What we look at is what they know how to do, how do they do it, what raw materials that they need, and what can be the end product. So our specialty is actually to draw products for these artisans that have a skill, and to be able to purchase from them the fruit of their labor, for them not to have to worry about where to sell their products. If that answered the question. I don't choose them. I chose the first one, the one that made the sapu. That one I chose him. I actually met him in a trade show. I went in to look for a friend, and there was somebody selling sapu from the corner of my eyes, and I thought, I'm not going to buy anything. I have too many things. But when I came out, the sapu was still calling my name, so I went to look at it. Yes, this sapu was quite amazing in the structure, in the making of it, and that's what made me curious. Is how do you make this with your hands, and how do you make this with the tools? And what I was trying to figure out is the technique on how to finish this. So his bahasa was excellent, mine was lacking. At that time, I don't have my yayasan, so I don't have ASI to translate for me. His English was inexistent, so I decided to go to his village. So I did, I went, I drove there, it's far. And literally, he was embroidering with rattan. As if you were embroidering with a very precious golden thread. He was embroidering with his rattan. And this is what struck me, is that he sold me a sapu for a certain amount in a trade show in Jakarta. So I asked him, I said, how much sapu do you sell in your kampung here? So he said, I don't sell that many. I was lucky somebody helped me to go to Jakarta. And I said, how do you make a living? He said, I don't make a living, I'm actually surviving. And so I say, well, goody, I can help you. So I took this sapu to the French community center, and by the time we were done selling the sapu, we actually got orders. So at the next show, we made big sapu, small sapu, Japanese sapu, French sapu, Italian sapu, and we started making bird houses, which I have a few here and there. We started making bird houses because the technique is the same, the material is the same. They don't have to go far from their area to look for the raw material. So by the time we were done with the second one, we had big orders, and the artisan was making money, was making profit. He went back to his village with this money, started changing his life, and everybody went, can I meet this madam? So So when I went to see him again, everybody came to me and said, Madam, I know how to make this. I can make this. I know how to do this. So I said, well, interesting skills. What do I do with all this? My husband is the one that says, make a foundation, make a business out of it, which is more like a social enterprise. I think it chose me. I didn't choose it. It was pure accident to meet that sapu maker, and the story after that is long, but it all started from the sapu. Pure accident. A pretty accident. Actually, I'm more of a designer. I don't produce myself. I don't make anything. It's all in the head, and I'm able to pass it on to the artisans for them to understand what is it that I want them to make. So I don't produce anything myself. Everything here is made by the artisans that we help in their villages, each one with their own skills, and a lot of it is heritage skills. It's skills that was passed down from generation to generation. If you do not help these people to continue on doing what they know how to do, eventually they'll come to the city and they will lose their skills because they'll get a job being a Gojek or being whatever it is and stop doing what they know how to do with their hands. And for me as an expat, looking at these skills that you have in your hand, it is heritage skills. It's something that, yes, you can learn it, but when it is passed on to you, it's something that's precious. You have to pass it on as well. So you have to perpetuate this knowledge of hand making. It's like batik. If everybody start printing batik, there will no longer be the ibu that knows how to make the titik and the this and the that. It's important skills. Overall, sorry, I can't say that I like everything handmade in Indonesia, because a lot of time when you go places, you find things that really have no aesthetics, that I wouldn't buy, that I would not buy for me, that I would not buy to give also. I'm looking for something special. I'm looking for something that has a skill in it, that has somebody that has put all their heart into it. If it's massively handmade, it loses the flavor of handmaking. You go to some areas of Indonesia and you find thousands and thousands of products. Yes, it is handmade, just like my shirt is handmade in a factory, but they produce zillions of the same shirt. And although it is handmade, it has no character. So I'm looking for the character, that skill that makes this object special. Something that I will buy and keep preciously and hopefully pass on to my son as a heirloom. I'm a person that works on my own. I'm actually dyslexic. It's out there. Everybody knows Caroline is dyslexic. I have this inability to communicate very well due to my dyslexia. And for me to work with somebody else is actually very difficult. I do everything basically my way, the way that I am able to assimilate it. So no, I don't partner with anybody. I did partner with one person one time. It was a complete disaster. I used to have a market and somebody with a different mission that I took as a partner. Wrong turn. No, I think when you are set on your goals and you know where you're going in a sense, although I'm kind of a person that do everything based on spontaneity and by accident, but I think, it's strike of luck as well, and things are prospering. With the government?
Is it even with the government?
No. It's my line of market. It's called Lokal with a K because we're very Indonesian. Lokal Indonesia, and it's a market that gathers people that are making by hand, people that are very passionate about what they are doing, but they don't have a shop. So they are unable to attract you to their products because they don't have a storefront. So we find these artisans, we invite them to participate in our market. We've been doing this since 2016, and it's a great event that where you discover food, where you discover flavors, where do you discover scents, where do you discover handmade. We have ice cream since 1969 by Es Brazil, traditional Indonesian ice cream, which is amazing, not just in the flavors, but in carrying and perpetuating this knowledge of making ice cream since, 1969 in a small village of Purwokerto, brought here to the city where we can now enjoy it. But not everybody finds this ice cream because it is only in one area of Jakarta. So I bring it to my market so that even expats can discover these flavors like kopi or like other flavors of Indonesia. We have artisans that are making scents, that are making clothing, but everything is handmade, and it has to be handmade. My curations, it's not that easy to pass. I'm actually very stubborn about it. It has to be handmade, it has to have a story, it has to have an impact on the community. And the person who is the owner of the brand has to be present for the few days of the market. So the next one is going to be on the 2nd and the 3rd of December at the Morrissey Hotel. We're outside. This time it's going to be an outdoor event, and we're also going to have a dog adoption program with one of the shelter, House of Blessing. So please come and discover that Indonesia has talents, a lot of hidden talents that if you do not visit this kind of event, you will not meet them. And they have a story, and they have a passion, and it is handmade in Indonesia. Be different. Be different. Do not try to copy somebody else. Go and help somebody. Go and help an artisan. Go and find raw material in the forest. Go and find things that will make this item very special. And put all your heart into it. Do not copy somebody.